In America, only about 65% of American household to own the home. Yeah. Why the percent so low? Yeah, because the household maintenance so expensive. Because some many home in America were built more than 100 years ago or almost 100 years. So many of the plumbing or the electric wire got problem. Yeah, because you know the old home they had the plumbing system, especially the piper. It, yeah, built by iron piper. So in the summer, it melt down, and in the winter it's swelling. So often the piper often had the leak. Yeah, that drip out the water. The water bill may be cost a lot if the household don't repair you know the plumbing. Yeah, the water system, and replace the new one or repair cost a lot of money. And another problem for the old home like the electric wire, because the old home they use the old electric device, it's not good, so sometimes you use uh, you you buy more electric device and you use uh, in your home, it often turn off the power. Yeah, because it overload the current overload, often automatic turn off the power. And the old home often had the you know outdated hidden system. Yeah, they use the gas to warm the house. And the old home often don't have the central air. So if you want to relay the new one, cost a lot of money. Old home, have the good thing like the wall built by cement and the foundation built by cement, so it lasts maybe more than 100 years. And the new home had, the new homes have the problem too. Yeah, because the new home often built by cheap material, like the wood, the wall by the wood. Yeah, and the cheap wood, often after 10 years or 15 years deteriorate quickly. So need to spend more money. The piper is okay, but the wood, cheap wood, yeah. That's why many the household they spend a lot of money for house maintenance. And another reason many people they cannot afford to buy the home because their income. Yeah. For example, in America, right? They the people they got a paycheck about 2,000. That's the salary. But the important thing, the disposable income. Disposable income, it means after deduct taxes and social security number, social security, you know. So often 30%. And the disposable income vary depend on individual. Some individual have a lot of debt like student loan debt, credit card debt, car loan debt, and many debts. So that's why their disposable income lower. And another reason, when you buy the home, you have to buy the insurance. By law, you must buy the insurance, to cover your home. But your home, located in some area that, susceptible for hurricane, landslide, or flood, you have to buy the insurance to cover natural disaster. If not, something bad happen or mishap happen, you empty handed. Yeah, because in general, the people, they pay off the mortgage, the house mortgage after 30 years. So after 30 years, you empty handed. It's just. Like a nightmare. Another reason many people, they don't buy the home, especially the young couple. Why? Because they sometimes their job, so they have to move a lot. So that's all for the video today. I hope after you guys watching this video, you guys know about how American live and own the home. So if you like my YouTube channel, please support and share. Bye bye.
Neighborhood or be a local fixture. Most house flippers are in it for a quick profit, and therefore the consumer is many times not getting a great product. And so, okay, I'm giving you all the gems in this video, so make sure that you subscribe to this channel and click that little notification bell so you don't miss any of this content that I'm bringing just for you every single day so that you can get ahead. We will win together, I assure you. Just subscribe to this channel so I can help you. All right, let's get back to this content. If you want to make money in real estate, yes, you should flip houses, but there's going to be a way to do it. I actually have a book that you can get absolutely free called Real Estate Millionaire Secrets. It's a bestseller on Amazon. You can get that for free at noelsfreebook.com and read that book and see how you can actually make money in real estate without cutting corners, without doing shoddy projects, without flipping houses real fast and real cheap and passing it on to some other consumer and giving them a shoddy product that's going to fall apart. Like, you do not have to flip houses in a terrible way in order to make money. So get the book, Real Estate Millionaire Secrets. You can get it for free at noelsfreebook.com, and you can read how to really make money in real estate without being a terrible person. All right, let's keep going. Number 3, properties in flood zones. Flood zones are an amazing problem for most consumers because of the flood insurance that is required. So one of the things that is super important for you to do whenever you're purchasing a home is, of course, to get a home inspection and appraisal and some of those other things. But you need to find out immediately if the property is in a flood zone. And it is immediately, that is public information that's available. But of course, when you do the home inspection and they check public records and they check to see if it's in a floodplain, they will tell you if it is in a flood zone or not. I strongly suggest not buying a home in a flood zone if you are a first-time homeowner or if you're not very wealthy. Now, if you want a home on the beach, you want a home on the lake and different things like that, it's on the water, it's going to be in a flood zone. Most likely you have the money, the capital, the reserves. This isn't your first rodeo. You're okay with it. You have the money if there's ever a flood and to afford the flood insurance that is required for the property every single year. Okay. You will have to have flood insurance. We all know what happens if you have a flood and you don't have flood insurance. You're going to be relying on FEMA. And in many cases, they too won't give you any money or help you because they feel that you should have had flood insurance. So flood zones and properties in flood zones are just an absolute no-no for most of my buyers. Again, if you're wealthy or something to that effect, you can skip that part of it and say, yeah, I would want a house by the beach. I know it's going to be on a flood zone, or I want this house near this lake or near this body of water. I absolutely know that it's going to be in a flood zone, and that's fine with me. I can afford it. I can pay it. I want this. This is what I'm doing. But for most people, generally speaking, that's going to be a problem. The insurance goes up and up every single year. And the more like natural disasters and different things that are happening, that's the more expensive that flood insurance is going to get on top of the expense of just normal homeowners insurance. Remember, flood insurance is a separate policy that must be paid separately. It is not included in your homeowner's insurance, regardless as to whether your homeowner's insurance knows that you're in a flood zone. They are not covering that. You have to get that separate policy and pay for that on top of your normal homeowner's insurance and your taxes and the other things that goes along with your property. So again, your situation, I'm going to say probably stay away from them. I do not own any homes in a flood zone, and I have a lot of money. So you think through that. Number 4, manufactured homes or mobile homes. So again, I know people say condos are probably a bigger problem, but I would say mobile homes are more of a problem in real estate. One, because most cases they are not considered real estate. A mobile home can be considered real estate if it is attached to something and they remove the tags and a few other things to make it actual real estate. But the problem is they are poorly constructed. You realize when there's hurricanes and storms and different things like that, mobile homes, manufactured homes are flying away, literally flying away away with the wind because of their poor construction. They are usually cheaply constructed. And so that is usually why they are mostly used as investment properties. So in many cases, if you have a mobile home park or something like that, most of those mobile homes are all rented. And that is how the owners of those properties make money. And usually it is truly the owner of the rental park, the RV park, that is making the most money because they charge land rent. So again, everybody that puts their mobile home onto their land is paying rent to the mobile home owner. That is why the mobile home owner of that land would be very profitable, and they would make a lot of money. But you, as an individual homeowner of a mobile home, especially in a mobile home park, you're not going to be making very much money, and your property is not going to be going up in value because in that case, one, you don't own the land. So that's the real thing with real estate, is the land under it, not just the house itself, but the land and owning the land. That's important. So that's a no, you don't own that. And then if you do own the land and then you put a mobile home on top of your land, you did not increase the value of that land. Usually when you put a real improvement, a fixed home or house on land, then you have actually done an improvement and increased the value versus putting a mobile home on it. So just speaking of just straight assets, just saying real estate being an asset, mobile homes, manufactured homes are not usually typically assets because they are not going up in value over time. In fact, as they get wear and tear on them, a 10-year-old, a 20-year-old mobile home is usually just, ugh. You guys get what I'm saying. So think through that. You probably could get a small house or a townhouse that will go up in value. Yeah, it may have a HOA or a condo fee or something to that effect. So you might want to weigh those out. But again, the big problem with mobile homes is that they are not real estate. Number 5, oil tanks underground. So even if you have a home, you can buy a home and they may have an oil tank, and that's how they heated the home. And these are usually with older homes in the Northeast. So think New York, New Jersey, Massachusetts, Connecticut. Again, I'm from Connecticut. So I'm telling you, a lot of them will have these, they used to be heated by oil tanks. And in many cases, they may even have drained it and put dirt and stuff in it. Stay away from it. There's so many environmental impacts that can cost you so much money. I'm not going to even go into it because this is not a problem everywhere in the United States. Like there's not many homes in Florida, for example, with this situation. So this is really geared to homes that are in colder areas of the United States. Number 6, homes with private septic or private well. So I'm going to put these two together, even though they're separate, two separate things. So most homes are connected to public sewers or public water sources. So you have a water bill or you have a sewer bill, or maybe it's your trash and your sewer all in one bill because it is through the government. It's through your local county or city. You have public works. You'll see public works. That's public utilities, public water, public sewer system, public trash. Well, there are homes that have private septic, meaning they have their own septic system. They are not connected to the public sewer system. And so you have to maintain your own private septic tank. Well, that can get really expensive, and that is not something that I recommend, especially for newer buyers. Like if you have a private septic tank, I am not recommending that as a thing. It actually is not as marketable as well. So again, when you go to sell that home, remember, real estate is an asset. I'm going to always keep saying that to you. If you don't understand real estate, get Real Estate Millionaire Secrets. Get that book for free. Go to noelsfreebook.com and get that book. It will tell you how you make money with real estate. I used to be broke, bankrupt, and living in a basement. Today, I'm a multimillionaire because of real estate. So you can actually flip houses and make a lot of money. You can wholesale properties. You can have rental properties. You can do these things and make a lot of money. But one of the things that you have to stay away from is these unique type properties. The more unique the property is, the more of a problem it usually is as an investor, because you don't have as many people to sell it to. You want a home that as many people would want as possible. So homes that are in age restricted areas, for example, where you have to be at least 55 to buy those homes. I don't normally recommend those to the general public because now you can only sell it to someone that is over the age of 55. So you have shrunk down who you could market this property to. And when it comes to making lots of money with real estate, you want property that most people want. You want 3 bedrooms. You want properties in major cities or around major cities, on not too far from highways, not too far from public transportation, things like that. Keep it very cookie cutter. That is the easiest way to make lots of money with real estate. But again, Real Estate Millionaire Secrets will share with you all of the secrets. Private septic tanks are something that is more rare and is an extra thing to maintain. It can back up, and sewage literally could be in your yard. Most buyers already know what I'm saying. They don't want a private septic tank that they have to maintain. So again, now you've reduced the marketability of what you're doing with your piece of real estate. So again, private septics with, again, private, you would rather be connected to the public sewer system versus having your own private septic tank that you have to maintain. Same thing as a private well. So you would rather just turn on the faucet and it's tapped into the public water of wherever you live. Yeah, even if you live in Flint, Michigan, okay, or something like that, you'd much rather it just be to the public water supply versus your own private well that you have to maintain. Yeah, some people love that. Oh, I get my own fresh water and different things like that. But guess what? If there's a problem with that well, you have to fix it. That is completely on you. You usually have to have a maintenance plan and pay for that every year to have your well maintained. These are just things that you shouldn't necessarily want to have to pay for, especially with some of your first properties or properties that you are going to be buying as an investment. One of the things that I'm going to tell you as a tip, let's talk about homes you should buy. Homes that you should buy, as I mentioned, are homes that are going to be marketable to most people. So homes that are around the median price point of your area. So for example, I am in the Orlando, Florida area. The median price point of homes here is $420,000. And again, you can Google this. Well, I want to make sure that most of the properties that are owned are around that amount or lower. I don't want properties that are $800,000 and $900,000 if that's not the median price point from my area. If most of the homes that sell in my area are 3 bedrooms and 4 bedrooms, that's what I want. I don't want some 1-bedroom condos and studios, and I don't want 8-bedroom and 9-bedroom things, because that's not what most people in my area want. Again, what is selling in your area? Those are the type of houses that you should buy, because even if you're going to live in the home, you should be thinking like an investor, not a civilian. So many people get messed up in real estate, and you hear all these stories of people, oh, I'm so sad, I bought this house and now I'm house poor and I hate it. Well, because most of the times they bought it with the wrong criteria. They bought it for proximity to their job or some neighborhood they wanted to be in, or it's near this school system and different things like that. And yeah, that's cool. And again, I have 7 kids. I know about school systems and trying to pick a home that's near a good school system. But let's be clear. Real estate is an investment. And the first thing that you should be thinking, even if you're buying a home to live in, is what could this house be? What else could it be? Like, if I'm going to make this house into a rental property, for example, is it a good rental property? That's how you should be thinking about it, because most people's first rental property is the first home that they bought. They usually buy it, live in it for a few years, and then buy another home and turn that home into a rental property. And in fact, that's a great and smart thing to do, because again, you can put down a low down payment. You can live in the house for 6 months, a year, and then buy another house and then turn that one into a rental property. So that's a very smart way to get real estate and to start your portfolio. But it is not smart if you buy the house just for you and you're not thinking about the future. You should be thinking about your tenant. You should be thinking about your guests. If you're going to make it into an Airbnb, whatever you're going to do with the property, you should be buying it with that in mind, instead of me living in it and what works for me and what features, like aquariums and different things like that people buy and put in their houses. Those are not generally things people want. So you should stay away from it. Just being honest with you. Another important thing that to do is, I'm going to put a link below, is you should buy a home that you got at a discount. You don't want to buy a house that it's worth $200,000 and you get it appraised for $200,000 and you're paying $200,000. It would be much better if you bought a house for $180,000 and it was worth $200,000. At least now you have some equity in that house. But buying a house at full price is probably going to be one of the biggest mistakes that people buy. And so I say never buy a house that this should have been number one. Never buy a house where it appraised for $200,000 and you paid $220 or $250. And that was kind of what's happening a few years ago in the market, where people were paying more than the appraised value. That is a mistake. You don't need to do that in real estate. You can find people that are behind on their mortgage payment in pre-foreclosure. That's a great way. You can find people that are in foreclosure, okay? And literally, I have put a link below to foreclosures.com. Use that link and start searching for properties there, because that is truly a great way to get good real estate at a discount. So stop thinking like a civilian, stop thinking like a consumer, and start thinking like an investor. That's truly the way to get rich with real estate. You have to think like an investor. You have to have property that has equity in it. You have to have properties that you can cash flow. You have to have properties that are in highly appreciating areas, meaning this area is going up in value. So I'm getting it at a discount and it's going up in value. So I'll be able to make a lot of money in 2 or 3 years. And again, I share all of these secrets in Real Estate Millionaire Secrets. It's an Amazon bestseller. I have sold hundreds of thousands of copies. You should get this book. You can get it absolutely free at noellsfreebook.com. That's Noelle, Noelle with an S, free, Free, book, BOOK. noellsfreebook.com. Go there right now. Put that in there. You just cover the shipping. We will ship you the book for free. You just cover the shipping. You can learn all about real estate. There's some tips, there's some tricks, there's templates. There's so many tools inside of that book to help you actually make money with real estate. And if you're looking to just buy a home for yourself, I will give you tips and tricks on how to start buying a house that can make you money in the long run, and even create an entire portfolio of real estate that you use business credit to get. You don't even have to use your own personal credit to buy homes. I teach you that in Real Estate Millionaire Secrets. So get that book absolutely free at noellsfreebook.com. I just want to make sure that you have all of the knowledge, all of the resources, and all of the tools that you need to be successful. This is Noelle, to your success.